What's going on, guys? Ben Sturtevant here. We are going to talk today about creating your content strategy, either in ads or for your social organic content, whatever you're doing. This is going to help you come up with ideas. I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT here in just a second to create something that I've given you or that I'm showing you here. This is an example of what I call a problem to solutions grid. Oftentimes with a lot of clients that we work with, we find that people they don't know what to talk about, or they say that here's my offer. It has healthy eating component, exercise plan, and personal coaching. This is usually like a fitness weight loss offer type of, as an example. And they fail to dive into the actual problems that this is helping people solve. And that's the key to marketing. If you guys know anything about marketing, 100%, it's about helping people get from where they are now to where they want to be, right? Before and after, transformation, it's all about that. But within that, there are a lot of concerns, hurdles, objections that people have that keep them from working with you, keep them from making that decision to pay you and work with you. So these are the ones that I'm going to walk you through, and I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to come up with not only these, but a lot more. And this would be an example of like creating a good offer, right? So if you have a healthy eating plan that you offer, underneath that, you might offer some things that dive a little bit deeper, that solve bigger problems. So what are the problems that people are dealing with inside of this healthy eating pillar of your offer? Well, one of those might be grocery shopping, right? Maybe they don't have the time to do it. So would it be valuable if they had a done for you shopping list sent to them weekly? Absolutely, right? That solves that problem, that objection, that hurdle. Maybe it's too expensive. Well, what if you had a portion of your program that showed them how to eat healthy for less than a certain amount? And this doesn't have to be necessarily a training or a component in your course or whatever. It could even be a lead magnet that you're using to attract people. Okay, so this content strategy isn't just for your offer. It can be used for lead generation. It can be used for your social content. It can be used for your offer. It can be used for so many different things. But it's important for you to start to identify how to turn what problems that your ideal avatar, your ideal clients are dealing with into content so that you can attract more of who you want, right? That's probably one of the things that comes up the most with the clients that we work with is, the quality of people, or, I'm spending money on ads and it's just not bringing in the right type of people. And that's usually because the messaging that you're using in your content strategy, in your ads, it's not connecting with what people really want in your market, or it's not hitting that target audience the way that you want to. So this is an example of what a problems to solution grid looks like. Now I want to show you how to use ChatGPT as a way to sort of get to where I'm at here. Okay, so this is ChatGPT 4. You could probably do the same thing on 3. And I prompted it with, I want you to act as an experienced health and fitness coach that helps people lose weight and get fit. I need to come up with a content strategy around the 3 core pillars of my offer, which are nutrition, fitness, and mindset, right? So you can create me can you create me a content strategy for each of those? And says, okay, of course. So here's nutrition. Here's the content strategy. So it's talking about articles, deep dive into science and nutrition, weekly meal plans, recipe videos, infographics, nutrition challenges, fitness, workout plans, right? Exercise demonstrations, challenges, articles on different workout forms, recovery and rest, mindset, mindfulness. You see where I'm going with this. And then it has some implementation tips for your content strategy. Consistency is key, obviously. Engage with your audience, right? Collaborate, metrics, stay up to date. Now, this in and of itself can give you some great ideas. Like you can do, you could have a content strategy just around weekly meal plans, right? And that could definitely give you lots and lots of content. But I just started with doing a deep dive into nutrition. So I prompted it further and I said, can you give me an example of a deep dive into science and nutrition? And it said, certainly, let's take a deep dive into macronutrients as an example. And then here you go, boom. Carbohydrates, the role in the body. Proteins, what are they? Role in the body. Fats, what are they? Role in the body. So you could have this is just taking one little portion of this response here and turning it into a piece of content that would be really, really good, I think, for this market. Now, you know your market better than I do. I'm just using weight loss and nutrition as an example because I think it's something that everyone can relate to. But the idea of using ChatGPT is really great because it's going to save you a lot of time and it's just going to prompt a lot of ideas. Now, you got to be careful because some of the things that it spits out might go over the head of your target audience. I might say something like this. Can you write me a script for a nutrients or macronutrients, sorry. Sorry, it's correcting my spelling here, macronutrients, but do it at a third grade level. Let's see if it can do that. So it's going to work on this. It's going to actually, so basically what I said is, can you write me a script for a live training around macronutrients, but do it at a third grade level? So why did I use that language? Well, most people understand, read at that level. You start getting above that and you start to go over people's heads. And so when you start talking about things like, saturated fats, unsaturated fats, right? You start talking about complex carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates. The people who are a little bit farther along on their fitness and nutrition journey may understand that, and that might be your target audience, and you might be able to use those words. But when you start to use even things like macro or macronutrients, you start to scare people away. So what I did here is I took a topic and I'm basically asking ChatGPT to rewrite it in a different way. And this is a really helpful thing for you. You could do the same thing with headlines or, lead magnets. So it did it here. Let's see what it said. Macronutrients magic show. I wouldn't call it that, but it's speaking at a little bit different level. Who here loves bread, pasta, and fruits, right? And so instead of like, are you counting your macronutrients, right? And using all of this techno, stuff that it might make you feel like you're smart and you know things, and that's great, but it doesn't connect with people. And this is really, really cool. So let me try this. Can you give me a better name for this live training and create a lead magnet for it? Let's see what it does. Yeah, I love ChatGPT. I think it's the coolest thing ever. Here we go. Name for the training: food superpowers, unlocking the magic of what we eat. Boom, right? That's so much better, right? Lead magnet, food superpowers, unlocking the magic of what we eat, superhero, food activity book. I don't know, but this is probably more for kids, right? But very cool. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just diving deeper and deeper and deeper with just one little thing. The very first thing that I saw up here. You could do the same thing with micronutrients. You could talk about the body's energy requirements. You could talk about, then get into weekly meal plans. And you can use ChatGPT to really get into the woods. Watch this, okay? If someone has a budget of $100 per week and needs to eat healthy, what should I recommend them? Or no, let me get more specific. If someone has a budget of $100 per week, needs to eat healthy, can you give me a shopping list for Safeway? Safeway is a grocery store that we have. You might have Kroger or, whatever. But this is how crazy. This is crazy. Healthy shopping list for Safeway, $700 budget. Note, this list assumes the person will be preparing most of the meals at home. All right, and there you go. Now you can get a lot more specific, but what I'm trying to do here is I'm giving you. We're just taking this deep dive into doing social content in a way that you literally have an endless amount of content at your fingertips. What I'd recommend that you do is what I do, and I'm going to try to find it. I've got way too many tabs open, but it's my I've got content buckets essentially that I put topics into that I want to cover. Like this, for example, is a great one, right? It's one of the problems that our clients have is developing content, right? So that's a problem we want to help people solve. So this is a training, this is valuable content that's going to help them. And I'm basically putting, we have, core buckets. We have like lead generation, like nurture, sales, fulfillment, and like objections. Those are kind of the main buckets that we have that I'm constantly dumping content into. And so when I'm coming up with strategies to discuss with whether it's live training or we're talking about, coming up with lead magnets or even courses or, components for our offer, it all comes down to trying to fit some things in those buckets. And ChatGPT is a great way to deep dive into that and give you the content that you need. So you don't always have to be coming up with something new, or you don't always, a lot of the people don't even do anything, right? They don't know what to talk about. And this could be, there is a lead magnet by itself. That could be something you offer like on a 2-step, or, you do a live content on Instagram and you're saying, hey, here's my detailed shopping list, for if you're on a $100 budget a week, here's how you can eat healthy. Who wants it, right? DM me the word shopping list, and they DM you that. You can use our Elite 360 system to kick back an automatic link to the list. And now you're often having a conversation, hey, I see that you're trying to eat healthy, and how long have you been on your nutrition plan or your journey, blah, blah, blah. So just, there's so much potential, and I could go on and on. And again, we haven't even scratched the surface, right? We haven't even, you could do a whole, you want to see that? Okay, let's try it. Recipe. Can you give me 30 recipes? 30, let's do healthy recipes. Now this is going to probably take a while, so I'm going to probably stop generating at some point, but it's going to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 10. Probably should have been more specific. Something you got to do with ChatGPT is you got to be very specific of what you want. And like I could come back and I could say, can you give me 10 more breakfast recipes, right? And so again, the spinach and feta egg white omelet, this could be a live piece of content that you do, or a recording that you do preparing it. And then in that video that you're doing, you can say, hey guys, if you want this, this recipe, and you want 10 others or 30 others for the next 30 days, DM me the word recipe, right? And boom, what does that do? Instantly initiates conversations with quality leads that you're trying to get in front of. Boom, right? Now you could apply the same process to anything. Let's say you're an investor, right? You could do the exact same thing, or you're in real estate coaching, or you're in, if you're an author and an expert, relationship coach, you could do the same thing using this strategy to come up with an endless amount of content. The key is when you're delivering the content is to provide value, like to really help people win. And that's why, I'll use the wealth industry for a second as an example, investing. A lot of those types of coaches will do well if they're doing like live trading, or they've got like a free group where they're letting people watch their trades, or you got to be careful, obviously legally, but then they're doing like deep dives into how they evaluate companies, and you could do the back end thing where hey, if you want my detailed list of how I evaluate my picks, send me a DM, or go to this link, right? Again, lead magnet. Powerful lead magnet, and you can just go on and on. So it gave me, you can see the 30 that it gave here, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There you go, right? And if you really, really want to do well, preparing these things live, or preparing these things in a video and showing people how you do it, like speed it up. It's really popular right now. The trading could do the same thing. Real estate coaching could do the same thing. There's so many great examples out there. So hopefully this was useful for you. Hopefully you can get some value from it. The key with ChatGPT are the prompts. Get it started. And if you can see here, it's learning from itself as you go. You're literally having a conversation with it, right? So the beginning, you want to tell it who you want it to think like. That's the first thing. And then once it gives you, and ask it to do something for you, right? Can you create me a content strategy for each of those 3 core pillars that I gave it? And so it did. And then I'm going to then pick out those core pillars and ask it to do a deeper, a deep dive into that, right? And then I'm going to ask it to, we go any further. Can you give me a script about that, right? And I'm asking it to maybe rewrite it at a third grade level, or, can you give me a better name for this training for the lead magnet? Food superpowers, unlocking the magic of what we eat. Very cool, right? Love it. And then I'm just diving in from there. So hopefully that was useful to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next training.